Welcome to Heath, Keighran Cut.
So, like, especially for other people watching, there is this huge world of it, and I was completely unaware of how big it is and how deep it runs in across the world until I kind of fell into it. You went to Ukraine last year in amongst everything that was happening. Do you want to take us through, like, why you did that to start with, and then like the idea of art and community in like celebrating and uplifting culture?
Well, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Well, I've been there once a year since the war, so three times now. On a selfish level, every country surrounding Ukraine is quite a decent size improv country, and I'd been lucky enough to work in nearly all of them, and not yet Ukraine. There wasn't really a reason for that prior to the war. There were groups there, just one of the places that hadn't happened. So it had kind of always been on my radar. But Russia was a place that I'd been lots of times.
Yeah, okay.
And I just noticed, well, the front of the war, it's a long way from the main cities. I'm surprised that Ukraine is surrounded by improvisers, and none of them are popping over to give them a hug and have a perform with them.
Yeah.
Just because of the small matter that bombs are getting dropped. People, what can you do with them? Though I'm fascinated by them. I guess I didn't make a big point of it in posts or anything, but there was a little bit of virtue signalling in the sense that I thought, well, if I just go in and do some workshops and a couple of shows and so on, then probably all the other improvisers that kind of do the international tour might get a bit, well, Nick went in there, so I should go in there. But they still didn't. The thing was, though, it was an even more, I was expecting to enjoy myself and to like the people and all of that, and already had a bit of an idea of Eastern Europe.
Yep.
But it was more special than I imagined it was going to be. I call the Ukrainians the Irish of the North, in that if an average in Russia Russian accent might be, post-Soviet formal, monotone a little bit, bit like Australian male, then the Ukrainian language and way of speaking it has an incredibly lyrical lilt up and down and blah, blah, blah. So it's really beautiful to listen to. And the culture, whilst having many crossovers and the language having many crossovers, quite different. They've got their own specifics. In terms of the impact, art and culture, well, I think the arts and also entertainment generally do not suffer at the worst times. This is their hour, So you see that in all sorts of places. This is where we grab on to things that are good soul food to keep ourselves alive. It might just be humour, or it might be, things like the film industry do very well, and so on. So the arts does that, and obviously the arts has something to say as well if you choose to use it that way. And I was probably like, angry young political type that went to protests and everything when I was a younger man. But now the fact that you can help uplift one person one at a time over and over again is really useful, and in return they uplift me.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get into Ukraine. It's not difficult. You don't need a visa as an Australian, in practical terms, but you can't fly in there. So you're going to do a very long bus or train.
Where do you have to fly into?
Most people get a bus from Poland.
Okay.
There's apparently an overnight train to Warsaw, but I've never managed to get on it. And now I believe there's an overnight train from Vienna, which sounds like a much better idea.
Yeah.
So I'll try that next time around. But I just wanted to say about Ukraine culture. I've worked in 40 countries now, and you eat a lot of food, and gee, we love all the local cuisines and all that kind of thing. But essentially, there's virtually nowhere in the world that has more reliable quality and variety and so on as Australian food and coffee culture now.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a bad meal or a bad coffee in Ukraine either. So that was quite a surprise. They know what a flat white is.
Okay.
They also invented the flat red,
What's
which
that?
is with pomegranate juice, I think.
A coffee with pomegranate juice?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's pomegranate they use in the flat red. But the cafes and the restaurants and the hotels, they're all like beautifully individually styled and, it's very, very stylish culture. People have a great pride in what they do. And in the East, generally, in theatrical terms, it was always a long way ahead of the West. And then the West just stole its stuff and called it something different and dumbed it down and said it's theirs. I mean, the primary example, though Russian, of course, would be the Stanislavski method, dumbed down to become the method.
Yeah.
But it's only people who are actually doing theatre that talk about Stanislavski and so on. And when he was at his peak, and then later his compatriot coming from a different angle, Vsevolod Mierhold, when they were doing their stuff, the Poms were still doing melodrama with the landlord coming over and picking in a box set and overacting and so on. And in the meantime, they're like going all the weird places that we ended up going later, and take everything very seriously. If you think of like Soviet era Olympians and so on. So you can walk into classes there and feel like when you're giving when you're giving an instruction or a directorial idea or something, it's likely to already make sense because the average person would go to theatre.
Yeah, okay.
Just like they would go to sport. It's something in their makeup. And secondly, they regard it as a genuine, respectable skill set. So someone in your acting class is likely to be like, of course, Professor, would you like a 2 backward flip-flops with that? And when I look at them behaving that way, I kind of think, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind 2 backward flip-flops because I don't have any students. I probably do somewhere. But I don't think I have any students who could do a backward flip-flop. So please, let's put it in.
Yeah.